Reports on housing. How's everybody doing out there? Stephen Thomas, reports on housing analyst, and father of 9 kids, and absolutely love and adore my family. Also love what I do. Love getting out in front of people again. Glad COVID is subsiding a bit. Pretty fantastic. I'm ready for a fun weekend. We're coming to you live on a Thursday at 3 o'clock so that I can enjoy a little bit of my kids' spring break with them tomorrow. And we've got a lot of fun things planned. So needed to go on Thursday, but I found out from a lot of people they like Thursdays. So we'll take a look to see if Thursdays could be a new meeting time for this Facebook and YouTube Live. Just everybody gets busy on Friday and they're preparing for quite so many different things, but you can always watch these things afterwards. But maybe we'll be launching these on Thursdays. We'll take a look. But anyway, I have kids. They're all over the place. They're doing fun things. So we'll see if we have any surprise guests. But for right now, it looks like, you know what? It's just me and you. Anyway. Hello, Jane. How are you doing out there? And Jacqueline. Hello. A lot of people prefer Thursday. So, hey, you know what? I understand that. Oh, I do have a kid. Oh my gosh. Who's this?
Your one and only daughter, Athena.
Athena.
Actually, I'm not the one and only, but
Yeah. Yes, we're ready to have a fantastic time. You feel warm. It's very hot outside, so I'm like right now hugging her, and she feels hot. Are you outside?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna go in the pool. Huh?
Yeah, Mommy just started heating it up.
Right on. Give me a rocket right here. All righty. So yeah, we've got some soccer though. So, anyways.
2 games this weekend.
Everybody's saying hi. Yes, happy Thursday. Let me know. Thumbs up if you want Thursday or prefer Friday. Put it in the comments, the chat, and we'll see what we can accommodate based upon what everybody wants to see. So, somebody said they think I froze. But if you think I'm freezing, you know what? The best thing to do is go out of it, go back in. A lot of times it's just the connection that you're looking at. Anyhow, thank you for coming, my surprise guest. Anyhow, all right. So let's see. Let's go ahead and get this party started and shrink my little face down. Maybe I'll get a little closer so we get so you can hear me loud and clear. But let's go ahead and do this. So, all right. Our housing debrief. What the heck? It's having issues with my clicking away. All right, here we go. Whoa, wow. Let's go backwards. Let's go refresh that. I was having a problem with it. All of a sudden, it went nuts. That was hilarious. Love it. Did it again. Let's see. All right. Wow, did you see that?
Yeah, it just went.
It's like doing it on its own. What the heck? All right, so having a technical difficulty with my own thing. Let's see what.
I can talk. If you need
that was weird. It's like as if it's the space bar or something. I don't know what the story is, but
I can talk while you fix
it. You can talk while I fix it. Wow, you're just amazing. I really appreciate all that. That's pretty fantastic. Thank you for that. I don't know why it did that. It was really weird. It was like going from the very beginning all the way to the end. Let's see if this is a better way of doing it. Let's see. All right. So sorry for the technical difficulties. That stuff happens. But let's go ahead and see where we're at here. All right. There we go.
I think it's working. Except
all right.
Glitching.
There we go. Economics decisions here. Let's see what it does when I click on the button. There we go. We're good to go. Reports on housing, your local real estate snapshot. That is the name of our company. And that is what we do. I'm a housing analyst. We have housing analysts that work for us. And we're just, this is our gig. We're not here we're here trying to tell you exactly what's going on. So families and everybody can have the expectations so that they can go ahead and make good decisions for their families. That's what it's about, setting expectations of what's going on. So I would like for everybody to navigate over to YouTube. Reports on Housing, that is the name of our channel. Reports on Housing on YouTube. Go ahead and like, subscribe. It helps the algorithm. This will get the word out so people have the proper data and facts in order for them to make proper decisions for their families. There's way too much noise that is out there, and I'm just trying to cut through that noise by bringing the proper data, charts, statistics, and the story behind exactly where we are today. So let's see. All right, some funny stuff. Therapist. What's really bothering you? Me. Yes. Things like this that people do. How about this? Cash buyer, FHA loan. I know. At least, when the market starts to slow down a bit and we get fewer and fewer offers, FHA offers will finally win. And that is why I've been rooting for the market just to slow down from its craziness to more of a normal market. And this April, more inventory. Is supposed to come on than ever before. The seller's market is coming to an end. Prices are about to drop. April Fools. All right. Home demand is stalling. This is why everybody's here. They're gathered around so that they can understand exactly what I'm seeing in the numbers. The numbers have definitely evolved over time. And yes, we're getting kind of a stall in demand. And it's just everybody's kind of like going over the what's going on with rates. And they know rates are going up, but they've gone up quite a bit in such a fast period of time. This is the 10-year treasury, closely resembles what happens with 30-year mortgages. What happens is, of course, as the appetite for 10-year treasuries, that investor is the same appetite, same investor for 30-year mortgages. So they kind of do the same thing, and that's why we bring up 10-year treasuries. And this just kind of shows you what has happened so far this year. This is just a recap of why we have these rates. This was initially digesting F8, the Federal Reserve, and they changed their tune and they said they were going to drain the balance sheets. That's what they said at the very beginning of the year. Actually, it was in December. The meeting notes were released at the start of this year, and then all of a sudden, boom, things were changing. Last time around, when they were draining their balance sheets after bringing their mortgage-backed securities to zero in 2014. At the end of 2017, that's when they started to drain their balance sheets. This time around, they brought down their mortgage-backed securities purchases to zero last month, and they're going to begin to drain next month, most likely. And they announced exactly what they're doing. So that is a big, gigantic change. That's why we had a big change in our interest rates and 10-year treasuries. Then everything was flat once we got to February, and because not a lot of new news. And then we went into the Russian-Ukraine crisis, geopolitical event that dropped the 10-year treasury and rates just for an instant, but that was going to be very inflationary, which is we're already battling inflation. So, and throw on top of that, the Fed finally telling everybody exactly what they're going to do this week. They've talked about they're going to be putting the metal to the pedal as much as they possibly can so that they can go ahead and tamper down inflation a bit. And with all that said, everybody's kind of fearful of recessions and things like that. So we've had a big spike, and we've eclipsed 5% for the first time since 2018 this week. Came down a little bit today and yesterday, but we're like at 4.97%. And that's according to the Mortgage News Daily. On a daily basis, they look at mortgages. This is where COVID-19 is. And this is all how much we have changed in interest rates from the very start of the year to where we are today. If I draw a line across, like I said, this is November of 2018, where we were at 5%, above 5% for a minute. And that's where we're playing. And there's even more pressure for this to go up higher. How high it can go, it's kind of anybody's guess. But I really don't see a lot more legs to this where it could go much higher, like 5.25% or right around there, but we'll just have to see. We'll have to wait and see. There's a lot that can happen. There's a lot that can affect the 10-year Treasury and mortgages, as we've already learned so far this year. And this just shows you how big of a change that yellow line over here on the left-hand side. You can see this where my cursor is pointing and I'm circling around. This is how much how much mortgage rates have changed, and all the other lines are prior years for the entire year. And what we've done so far is gone up a lot. The most, I believe it's the most in 40 years, is something I read this last week. And what that's done is interest rates have come up so much that at first, when interest rates are starting to rise and people are worried about interest rates going up, even that is a motivator. But when interest rates get to be such a giant gap like it is today, so motivator kind of, it helps boost demand. You hear a lot of people say, well, when interest rates rise, typically demand goes up a bit. That happens initially, and that is what happened maybe for the first month and a half of this year. Maybe the first couple months, but it has changed with interest rates continuing to rise. It is a deterrent at this point. Oh, by the way, my dad is correcting me. He says it's a pedal to the metal, not the metal to the pedal. Hey, you know what? I've done that for years. My wife has had to correct me as well. Thanks, Dad. But it is an actual deterrent with how much rates have gone up. At this point, they've come up so much that some people are doing the analysis going, yeah, this just doesn't pencil out. It doesn't make sense. And you can see it in the demand. And March 31st, so this was last Thursday, I crunched the numbers, and we did the report last week. And when I crunched numbers, I thought of you were going to have to talk about this as well, probably the following week. And that's why we're talking about it now. But it started to flatline. And this is not typically where it flatlines. We typically see demand continue to go up throughout April until it peaks sometime towards the end of April to the end of May. So that's typically where it peaks. This time, it's kind of flatlined. It actually went down 55 pending sales. Last year at this time, we were at 19,717, which is 21% higher. That's that difference between the yellow line and the red line right over here. And the 3-year average is 17,292, that's 2017 to 2019 prior to COVID. I compare it to that because that kind of gives us the velocity of the market of when we were more of a normal market. So we're actually below that normal part of the market. So we're at, that's 6% higher than where we are today. The average rise for that 2-week period leading up to March 31st, so this to start April 1st, is a 5% rise in that 2-week period, and it was flat for that 2-week period. So it's not normal. And I crunched the numbers to today, and we're at 16,164, which is down another 0.5%. So that's strange because usually it's going up, and this is a trend that continues. And where if this yellow arrow is showing you where we should have been, how we should have been going up in demand from about the middle of February on. And instead, you could see that we started to drift a little bit, and that's where we were stalling out. And you can see where the demand line has stalled. It should be right about where the end of the arrow is right now. Right below that red line. And that's not what happened. We didn't get that. Instead, we got this flat line. And it begs the question, did we already hit the 2022 peak in March? And that could be what happens. We'll just have to see how interest rates go and how they play out from here. And where will it peak? It most likely is going to peak between April and middle of May. And then that's where it most likely will peak, but we could have peaked in March. We're just so close to those numbers that we don't know, but let's just say that it's going to be very close to where it is today. And then after we get towards the middle of May, then it's going to go down for the rest of the year. And Scott asks a really great question. He says, isn't that because of the lack of inventory though? Yes and no. So yeah, we're placing fewer homes on the market, so demand is diminishing over time. But I'm seeing demand diminish and inventory start to rise in some areas. We shouldn't get a rise in inventory if we have so much demand out there. And I've already heard so much anecdotal stories in the streets as to what's you guys are all dealing with. Yes, it's still craziness, but it's just starting to show in the numbers right now. Now, if we weren't getting enough homes on the market and demand was truly, absolutely continued to be insane, which it kind of feels like it still is, but there are homes out there that are sitting for longer than a minute, and they're starting to accumulate slowly. So yes, Scott, you're partially right, but there is another story that is taking place here now, and I'm going to show you what demand looks like in all kinds of markets. Los Angeles County demand year over year. This is March 31st, 5,524, flat. And last year, in a 2-week period of time, last year was at 6,675, 21% higher. That's the difference between the orange and the red line. 3-year average, 5,749. That's 4% higher than where we were at in LA right now. And today we're at 5,508. Once again, flat. And Orange County demand, March 31st, 2,286, flat. Last year, 3,162, 38% higher. Orange County has probably got the biggest acute difference from last year to this year. And the 3-year average is 2,668. That's 17% higher than where we are at in Orange County today. And today we're at 2,246, down 2% in the last 2 weeks, in the last week. So continuing to drift further. Riverside County, this is because I snap the numbers. I actually snap the numbers tonight for Riverside and San Bernardino County. So I do every other week. I do LA, Orange County, and San Diego last Thursday, and then San Bernardino, Riverside this Thursday. That's why there's a difference. But March 24th, 3,475, up 1%. Last year at this time, 3,946, 14% higher. 3-year average was 3,031, which is 13% lower. That has a lot to do with Inland Empire. A lot of people are moving out that direction, but still, we're watching demand begin to diminish, because today it's at 3,340, which is a 4% drop from 2 weeks ago. So there is quite a drop that is taking place right now in Riverside. San Bernardino, similar, up 4%, 2,377 on March 24th. Last year, 2,607, 10% higher. The 3-year average is 2,217, 7% lower. And then today it's at 2,275, also a 4% drop in 2 weeks. So and San Diego County, March 31st, 2,756. Now, I always say that San Diego is typically the leading indicator. Typically, they do things first, and they started to do it on March 31st. We already saw it coming down 1%, 27.56. You could see how the yellow line is actually going down, where my yellow arrow is pointing to. In the last year, we were at 33.52. That's 22% higher. That's the red line. And 3-year average is 34.03, which is 23% higher than where San Diego is at today. And today it's at 27.56. So it's actually 27.86. I'll have to correct this. It's just up slightly. And then, so this is what the Fed's talking about. So there's this extra exuberance in the market where people are doing some ridiculous things, and people still are today doing ridiculous things. But this is only going to be momentary. This exuberance that the Fed talked about last week isn't really a bubble. It just indicates that anybody that's way overpaying above asking price right now, I mean, way over, and I've heard these stories, those are the people that might get caught, because we're not going to be going up as swiftly. So we're going to get buyers that are going to do a little bit more of their homework, especially the second half of this year. So that exuberance that has been in the market is slowly but surely going to fade. And it's going to definitely evolve, because I did the homework for everybody, and I showed you a couple weeks ago what the math looks like for people that are right now trying to figure out, should I move up? I'm a homeowner. Should I move up? And these are what we're seeing: rising rates impact on affordability. If you want that $4,000 per month desired mortgage payment, and I have it different for San Bernardino Riverside, of course, I look at something that's a little bit lower than $4,000 per month, but you get the idea. It's the same thing across the board, across the United States. The higher the mortgage, if you want the same monthly payment, the higher the mortgage rate, the more the less of a home you're able to purchase. So you could see at 3%, which is where we were about the start of the year, you were looking at a $1,054,000 home with 10% down, just principal and interest. And this doesn't even include taxes, okay? But at 3%, $1,054,000. 4.8%, which is about where Freddie Mac said that rates are at, but 846,667. That's where now you went from 1,054,000 to 846,000. So you can see you actually came down $200,000 from the start of this year in buying power. And at 5%, it's now at 827. So you lost another 20,000. If we get it to 5.5%, it gets down to 782,000. So you can see what happens as rates rise. It just eats into and erodes affordability. And then we have, how about we look at, let's say we're looking for a payment on a $1 million home, put 10% down, and you have a $900,000 loan, and you're right here in Orange County, LA, or San Diego County, right? So what you're looking at the beginning of the year at 3% was a $3,794 payment. Today, you're looking at a $4,831 payment for that same $1 million home. So it went up $1,000, and at 5.5%, now you're at 5,110. You're paying another 100 and whatever, $50 more. So you can see what's happening. There's an impact of affordability as rates rise, and I want you to see this now. This is really good stuff, and this is I believe this is the source is MBA, and you can see the yellow line that I made a little bit bigger on this chart. You can see what's happened on here. Started off pretty strong, and it looked like 2020 and was beating 2019 as far as purchase applications are concerned. I'm not talking refinances. Refinances are down like 60% year over year. So they're way down. As far as purchase applications are concerned, it's now beginning to show in the purchase applications. We were way up here at the start of the year. That's where everybody's getting putting in their purchase applications. New year, they're getting ready to go. And right now we're seeing this drop. You could see this drop that is occurring right here. And it went below the 2019, that's that green line. It went below that. We're starting to see these higher rates eat into the number of people that are putting in purchase applications. So this is starting to go down. You have to almost discount the red line, which is 2020. That was when we went into pandemic and had, but you could see it's starting to trail down. But I'm still showing you that still, even if it's going down right now, it's still many other prior years. So there's still increased number of purchase application activity, and that has a lot to do with this big first-time home buyer demographic patch of first-time home buyers. They're 32 years old, started a couple years ago. This is the third year. It'll go for 2 more years where it's the strongest ever of first-time home buyers that's coming through. That patch is making its way through. So we actually have increased volume of people that could potentially purchase. But you can see with that increased volume, it's starting to come down. And as these rates hold at where they're at 4.5% or higher, it will continue to erode this statistic. It'll be something that we're going to be watching very, very closely. So yeah, I'm pointing to right here where everything I was talking about, because and now Black Knight came out with this on Monday, and I've actually updated forbearance, and the people that came out of forbearance, everybody's still either paying, everybody that came out of forbearance either is paying on time or sold their house. So there's not a lot of junk that's coming out of that. But This is something else that they talked about that was released on Monday. And you could see over here, 29.1%. Now, 29.1% is really, really high, right? 29.1% is when you draw a line across, it is up there. And it brings us back to when we were coming out of the Great Recession. So that's just something that you have to watch, that it's eating into affordability across the United States. And when we have this much decreased affordability in such a rapid amount of time, that's where you're going to start to see the slow transition of the market, because the Fed is going to be very, very aggressive this year. They've already talked about it. The whole market is absorbing it, and that's what's happening with rates. We're seeing these rates just skyrocket. So something to watch. We've seen these interest rates continue to balloon, and I'm hearing it in the streets that we're getting fewer offers. I mean, if you normally get 10, I've heard 3. If you're in a price range that normally had 20, I'm hearing 10. I'm hearing stories about we're going to listen to all offers on Tuesday, and then Tuesday comes around and there's no offers. So I'm starting to hear more and more of that from the trenches. This will bleed into the data. I'm already seeing it in demand a little bit, but I'm pretty sure that it's going to rear its head further along this year. And you can see here the active listing inventory has just been going up slowly but surely, the active inventory. And that's because this is where mortgage rates are. I compared it to 2013. That's the green line. This is inventory. And we had interest rates that went from 3 3/8% all the way up to 4 3/4%. And then we had less than 20,000 homes on the market. Or now 25,000 homes on the market is a little bit less than 25,000 homes on the market. And then slowly but surely it increased all the way up towards 40,000 homes in the market for all of Southern California. And that is exactly what is going to happen to the marketplace in Southern California this year if we have these rates continue to stay where they're at, 4.5% or higher for duration. It's not going to happen in a snap. I talked about that last week. It's not going to happen instantaneously. People are going, well, how come it hasn't happened yet? Well, I'm starting to see it in the numbers. It's just really, really slow. This isn't the stock market. It's not like all of a sudden everybody goes, yep, no longer want to look at houses. I'm done. People don't do that in mass. It's the slow but sure progression. There's enough other things that people are talking about with, globally what's going on with inflation, with the gas pumps, with people talking recession, where it's starting to enter into people's psyche, and slowly but surely it will change behaviors that are out there. It's like I compare it to a U-turn in a narrow area with a big ship like this. You don't do it instantaneously, so it takes time, and our market will slow. So what happens is demand slows. And even if we're placing fewer homes on the market, it's those overpriced people that are not going to get away with overpricing. It's quite simple. You're not going to get away with overpricing. You can't overprice a home and get away with it as this year progresses. As a matter of fact, you're going to have to be right on the money, or it's just going to sit. And those overpriced properties will start to accumulate over time. And I hear a lot of people that are doing it. They're doing it like crazy. So that's just what that's what's going on there. We're going to have decrease in demand, increase in inventory, and the market slows. And overpriced people will accumulate, and there won't be as many multiple offers, and we'll go from a very, very hot seller's market to an insane market to just a regular hot market, which means that you can't really way overprice. So let's get into a few other things really quick. Let's see. What else do I have for you? 4.5% plus, we're going to have to be there with duration. That's the bottom line. We need to be there with duration in order for this to continue to slow our market and inventories to finally rise. And I will be bringing cracks to the market. I'll probably be writing a report about it as soon as I see it. I foresee it coming anywhere from April, definitely by May. We'll start to see cracks in the market, and I'll discuss exactly what that is in that kind of report. But let's talk about our sponsor before we get into a couple other things. My buddy, your buddy, our buddy, Kevin buddy at Monarch Coast Financial. So He, of course, deals with more than one kind of borrower, more than one kind of loan, everything from full documentation loans to alternative documentation loans to investor financing and even private money. So full doc to private money, everything in between. Loads and loads of experience. Has been doing this since 1976. And he's my buddy, your buddy, Kevin buddy. You can contact him to help you and your family like he helped my family do a refinance, and it was flawless. It was absolutely perfect. He's got so much knowledge, and he's been doing this long enough where he knows how to treat the customer. So my buddy, your buddy, Kevin buddy, you can contact him at 949-422-2075. That's 949-422-2075. Thank you again, Kevin, for your continued sponsorship. And now we'll talk a little bit about supply. And we have on March 31st, we were at 13,663, up 3% or up 353 homes in a 2-week period of time. Now, that doesn't seem like a lot, but you could see the trend. The trend is slowly but surely we're going up in a time where everybody's saying that it's so busy that, anything that comes on is just going to get eaten up. Yet it's slowly but surely going up. We went down this time last year. The difference this time are higher rates where some people are not getting away with overpricing their homes. Last year, we were at 15,395, which is 13% higher. That's the red line. The 3-year average is 35,877. That's 163% higher. We should be at like 36,000 homes in the market. We're not even to 14,000. And today we're at 13,883. That's 2% higher. So you can see we continue to slowly but surely increase. And new trend has arrived. I've talked about it before. Fewer homes coming on the market. There you go. Fewer homes coming on the market. That's the orange line. That's what we were talking about before. But even with fewer homes coming on the market, we're still getting a lift in the inventory, which shows you that there's something inherently going on. And that's homeowners still want to say, come on over here, Zeke. Holy cow. I do have a special guest. I need to bring you this special guest. Who is this? Whoa! Who's this? What's your name?
Ezekiel.
Oh, Ezekiel. What are you going to do? Are you going to go do something soon?
I'm going in the pool.
What? Are you kidding me? In the pool?
I'm going in the pool.
Oh, man, you feel warm too. You must have been outside. You are warm. Holy smokes. It's so warm outside. It's going to be great in the pool, huh?
It's hot outside.
It's hot outside, huh? Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Have a good one. So much fun. Love the kids. But you know what? A lot of homeowners are staying put. We've talked about it before. They have stayed put and they're not moving. And just know that will be another trend that we'll continue to watch. But yet, even with fewer homeowners coming on the market compared to what is normal, we are still building an inventory. And that has a lot to do with the higher rates. Not getting away with overpricing. Pricing is going to be fundamental. The Southern California expected market time on March 31st was 25 days. It went up 1 day. Normally it goes down and pretty much it kind of hits a bottom. That's where it did last year at this time. And last year at this time, we were at 23 days. So we crossed over last year for the first time since May of 2020. It's actually a slower market slightly than last year, but still that's an evolution in the marketplace we need to point out. Today we're at 26 days. So we went from 25 last week to 26 days. So you can see we're slowly but surely making our way up. Like I said, it's not instant, but it happens over time where all of a sudden you ask yourself, how did we get here? It's kind of like when I eat too much and I go, wait a minute, I need to exercise. How did this get here? So there you go. That is it's the same thing. It's the slow, methodical progression. And I want to share this before we wrap it up, but this was sent to me by an agent. Hey, Steven, just an FYI, I just listed a property in Palm Springs, single family, 1,344 square feet with a pool and spa. A good price for the house after I researched all the comps was $899,000. And I felt we were good there. I had an open house with over 90 people through, and we ended up accepting an offer at $1,150,000. And then removed all contingencies with the offer. I never in my wildest dreams expected that. Anyway, I didn't know if you could use this information for your reports. Thanks. Yes, I absolutely can. And I'm glad that they sent this my direction because it still gives me an idea that there's still a lot of craziness going on in the market. Now, if it was me and I was the buyer, I'm not stretching that far. I'm just not knowing what's going on right now because, yeah, property values are going to appreciate, but it's going to slow from that 20% that we've been at right now. And this is left over from that 20% where there's still exuberance in the marketplace, where it's going to slow down, where we will still appreciate, not become a buyer's market, but still appreciate more at a rate of like 5%. So if you're paying an extra 20%, you could see the difference. You might be overpaying for a home. You have to be careful as a buyer out there. So, and I am starting to see some red flags out there. I'm starting to look at where affordability is at. Remember, I talked several weeks ago about it being like a rosé. Well, there are some markets in Southern California. I'm not going to name names. It's going to be a future report where I'm starting to see a red flag, where it's a red flag warning. I take a look at where values are at today, where incomes are at, and what rates are at. Well, with rising rates, it's come up to a point where it's very reminiscent of other slowdown periods before in the last 40 years that I go backwards in time. And I know it kind of compares to like prior to Great Recession. It's not going to be the Great Recession. I'm here to tell you, because we're missing something. It's called inventory. We have no inventory. Yes, it's going up, but we're so far off of the kind of inventory glut that we need to be at that you can't even compare the two. Just know that we will not be crashing anytime soon, or it's not a bubble that's brewing. So if you want a copy of this, we automatically send it to anybody that's a subscriber. So you have to go subscribe and we'll send it to you directly. Otherwise, you can't get a copy of this. We send this out as a courtesy to everybody that's a subscriber. They get a PDF version of the report. And you go to reportsonhousing.com, click on subscribe. You can go ahead, scan this URL code with your cameras, get it out and chink, chink. Take a little picture of that and go to reportsonhousing.com. Los Angeles, Orange County, we have them all over Southern California, San Bernardino, San Diego, Riverside, and we're going to be in the Bay Area down the road. Subscribe at reportsonhousing.com, $15 per month or $150 per year. You get a month free. Man, that's like 1 gallon of gas, $15, right? The coupon code is change and you get a free month, which you can use on a gallon of gas. So use the coupon code change and please subscribe, because the latest one you'll get is called Changes. That's a David Bowie song. And I'm talking about some changes that I'm seeing. I talk about that $4, the $4,000 per month, or this is the one that San Bernardino Riverside will get. Of course, it won't say 4,000; it will be less, but it'll give you an idea of where you need to be. And that's all I have. So I thank you very much. Continue to put stuff into the chat, the comments. I'll offline. I'll go ahead and answer this stuff. I just wanted to get on and off as fast as I can, deliver you content that you can use, and I hope you have a fantastic. Easy for me to say. I hope you have a fantastic weekend, like I will. Fantastic weekend. Jump in a pool, jump in the beach, jump in a lake, go do something. Stay cool, and we'll see you next week. Thanks much.